Girlfriend ko.
Gagawa po muna tayo ng penalty ako ng penalty. 3 hours, 3 days. 3 days yun, nag-game kayo. Lumala na lang tuloy.
Wala yung wala yung daming sa ganyan. Daming sa
lumapit ka naman yung ay, bakit naglalataw? Tapos na nga ako parang nag-aawat na yung ngayon.
Bakit na ba tayo sa akin dyan?
Free mo talaga yung
Pwede pumasok.
Kanuni.
Kristal.
Sino ngay? Ako sa grupo ko.
Uy, pagpalatan.
Pilon yun. Diyan po, di na kita yung tatay. Kanuni. Hindi kami na.
Kali kami.
kasi pa mo.
Sarapan na.
Sumama ka na nga. Nakauwi na ulit. Ang minute to. Martisha. Ano daw ka na mamaya?
Okay na ba siya wala siya? Pero yung bukas.
Bungako, no? Ano yung grade mo?
Mawag tayo sa kainitin natin. Crazy! Crazy! Dito kayo ka?
Ikaw yung tinutukoy ko eh.
Gago.
Lulong lang ako.
Ako!
Sabi tayo ng ano? Pamati siya!
Wait lang. Parang di naman lang boy.
Hey, wait lang.
Pwede ka ba?
Uy.
Pero yung na-shoutout natin, seryoso, wala akong next time na guys ako.
Mahalaga ang pangaral. Start na go.
Ano ba? Sino ang represent sa
Guys, ito yung poka ko.
Kayo tol. Katabi ko to.
Ay! Okay, ka na. God bless. Dinodog mo naman.
Ay.
Haba naman ang lasang, di ko makakalimutan. Sa akin. Ano yan? Ba't hindi naman bigyan niya ako?
Sige, daw. Sige yan. Bali ano, si Pilitin. Oo, mali sa amin sa sagot na yan. Hindi pa siya okay. Ulang pa daw yan. Gago, ako pala yun. Hindi ko lalagay na ako. Hindi ko lalagay na ako. Kailangan ko lang sabi ko sa Shopee yun. Be, pwede ka. Yan nga, mag-report ka na. Ayun, nakapulit ka na daw eh. Yun yung Tapos
Yung nakabulat na ilalagay ko.
parang hindi mo ako naging kagrupa. Songip. First ka lang. Oy, Shirley! Nakita mo kayo ano? Yung I love you.
Hindi kinibagal sa kanong dito.
Ano tawag sa'yo?
Walang lahat kasi.
Sama na lang daw si Boy. Ikaw na mismo mag-explain. Ano margarin pa naman?
Para kami na bayan.
Iwas pang hindi ko nakakalaran ito. Ako. Ay, akala ko pa bakit? Kasi lahat kayo pretend. Hindi pa kayo anong tayo? Maganda yung pen. Bakit na hardbind? Ano ang kasi nyo? Sa yung gato na lang.
Dapat pag-break na tayo eh.
Yung may pinap na kapoy. Pwede mo yung katakas. Bakit kasi maganda naman kayo. Agyon na. Wala Dami na.
Zia. Wala Zia.
Wala siya.
Zia. Ay no, Zia. Ano may
Wala na pasok. Wala na pasok. Meron pa, meron. Sabi ni Zia, wala na. Sabi, di ba? RT yun, RT.
RT na yan. Narilo mo, join in. Paano ba lumilad ako ba? Ang galing!
Pili mo!
Wala!
Wala!
Ano yun?
Papel mo sa pili!
Ay! Yan, magkano yan?
Balik ka pa
Bulo? Bulo? Bagay ako. Bulo? Tingnan mo. Gusto mo sa bahay? Ginawa ko yan. Bakit ba? sa mga ginagawa natin sa membership ka, no? 200. Buti na, marami. Marami
Ayun, sila.
Dapat yung pasok ka ng beses ka lang eh. Ano regalo gusto mo?
Everyone, magbayad
Bayad ko na tayo. Ano sa isa daw?
Basta kay ate siya, ano,
Basta bigyan sa daw eh.
lumad ka talaga sa akin.
Sabi ko sticker. Ba? Ano sticker? Ano sticker mo? Sticker mo?
Laman na lang siya.
Bye na lang. Bye bye.
Laman na lang
Kahit 500
Sabi alam ko eh.
Sasabihin ko lang yan. Ano bang na malaki?
Dalawang bag.
Wala mo.
Ikaw.
Hindi, nagkala ko naman. Ay, hindi. Magkapunta tayo siya. Recycle mo kayo yung mga
Pero ano nga?
wala. Ay, ito may magpaglalalasin mo.
Ikaw na din pala yung
Stop! Pwede na! Pwede na! Pero ikaw na si
Pakita mo si Ingrid. Gusto ng pang. Ate, ano yun? Ano kulay na lang. Muna kasi pa siya. Kaya mo, gabalit ka kayo. Pero pinakita mo kasi na ano mo yung pagpaginaw? Light brown. Light brown daw siya. Ikaw. Brown, light brown.
Lang, sunod lang.
Shady blue ka mo. Parang mapinto sila eh. Mga color ng magneto lang. Baka ano yung ganda, hindi ko sa ito. Ano yung parang mga pastel. Walang kayo sa'yo. Bilang ko tatlo neto. Magkakot may budget ko. Nag-iisa ko.
Dito mo lang
Ay, ito pala yung ano ko. Dito may sinaw.
You are Ruby, correct? Yes. Alright, so we're done with what topic? Are we done with antecedents, historical? No, not yet. Not yet. How about introduction? Yes. Ethical dilemmas. Tapos na tayo. So wala pa kayong output na napapasa? Ever? And someone help me with the connection. done discussing this one. Tapos na to. Introduction to Science and Technology. However, for your outputs, were you able to present? So today, so today we will be presenting which group is ready to present. Groups, are you all prepared? Ready? Okay, we begin with group volunteer. Any groups? How will you present your work? Are you going to present it using the television? I'll be giving you 5 minutes max to discuss or to share your highlights or the highlights of your work. After that, we proceed to the next. Okay? So stand by to sa mga pag-proceed. Okay? Okay, let's start. Sir? Okay, we'll begin in group 5.
What if lahat na lang tayo?
Wala pong Ayaw. Ayaw.
Send ko na lang
Sa TV daw, sir.
remote, sir.
Remote, you have the remote. Anong HDMI ba na-connect yung ano? Device nito?
Kailangan mo ma-accept.
Kailangan ko yung install.
Hindi mo magalaw.
May share station ba yung TV?
Ayaw yan.
Ay, sabi ba sir?
Sa mga may power bank, send nyo na lang sa akin.
Sound drive sa main building.
Mag-research yung munti ka sa mawala sa gina. Hindi ka mo. Bakit naman deserving ka mo?
Yan siguro TV. Alam mo.
Meron ko naman sa inyo.
Kasi may mga ay, doon yung kaya nila ikaw ang bigay. Buwate siya. Parang ako ikaw kanina.
So, good morning everyone. We'll be discussing two of the ethical dilemmas that are listed in the 2020 list. So, the assigned ethical dilemmas for our group is class dojo and classroom surveillance, and then range bots. Range bots. So, for the first question, what is the SMT issue all about?
A tracking device. Ano ba? Ano pa muna natin? Dito sir, technical issues.
So, first will be putting her in the class dojo. Class dojo is a tracking device that has a mixed impact on education. Parents and teachers can communicate as it requires having the guardian email address so they can monitor their child's behavior. So technically, Class Dojo is an application being utilized by different schools as their learning management system, wherein a parent can have a parent account or an access account where they can monitor their children's different activities, their logins, and their classes. So,
For which what's issue all about is about the automated programs that properly monitor e-commerce sites and buy high and demand products. So, in short, siya po yung parang nauuna kaysa sa mga person, people buyer. Yeah.
then for second question, what factors or events led to the introduction of this dilemma? So first is Class Dojo in general. Class Dojo is a specific classroom surveillance app for clarification. So Class Dojo became relevant during the pandemic because it is to help us communicate with the teachers and do the school activities while staying at home. The factors or events that we listed is improved communication and accessible activities. Like I said earlier, Class Dojo, the parents could monitor their kids using an easy application. Especially kasi nung pandemic, when we're using online classes, it's so easy to just exit and use other applications during classes. Through this kind of platform, they can ensure na their child or the students are entering their classes. Then, classroom surveillance is also essential to keep the teachers and students safe inside the school. It creates a safe place to learn for everyone. So, the 3 points that we listed is security, emergency purposes, and to prevent bullying. This kind of platform or this kind of community classroom surveillance, we ensure na since listed lahat dito, nakalagay doon all the activities and monitored siya directly. And yung parang in this kind of platform, malalaman agad if ever there are difficulties, matutulungan agad yung student if they have problems during their in their classes.
So in GrinchBots, what factors or events led to the introduction of this essence? And first of all is Christmas. Pasko, sir. Pasko rush. And limited supply, and also profit, and online shopping. So, GrinchBot is all about e-commerce that buy high-end products and faster than human shoppers can. And yung factors that led that is Christmas rush. So, mas mabilis sila makabili kaysa sa mga tao. Next.
Okay, so yung gusto lang po namin i-make sure dito sa GrinchBot. Yung GrinchBot kasi, parang to explain lang, is ang ginagawa na is they're buying stuff pagka-release niya, so they can mark up or they can double the price for other people. So for example, nag-release ang Nike ng bagong shoes, they would buy that and they would sell that twice the price. So yun yung ginagawa nung ganitong klaseng bot. Nag-auto queuing sila for payment. And then yung factors kasi ng creation ng ganito, since ganun nga, mas kumikita kasi yung other individuals more than dun sa store. So, ayan. And then, what ethical dilemmas does the introduction of the science and technology assign our group? So first is yung sa Class Dojo, what we notice is first is privacy. Although, yes, ina-ensure nito yung security that the students are entering their classes, doing their activities, but another about this is yung mga outputs that are being posted is also accessible to those not just the profs but the parents. And also, wala namang issue syempre if parents din nila yung nakaka-access, pero mas nagiging open kasi yung information, mas nagiging open yung details through this kind of platform, like how we use digital footprint, how we use other social media apps, nakakapag-iwan tayo ng mga personal information natin doon unintentionally. And if ever magkaroon ng leaking in this kind of platform, medyo delikado siya. Next is digital divide. Not all students have equal access to technology. Like we said earlier, during the pandemic, isa to sa mga naging issue here in the Philippines as not everyone have fast internet, fast access. And there are times na kaya ka na-disconnect, alam din naman natin yon, disconnect during online classes is because of technical difficulties, because of the internet. So even if unintentional kasi siya, nare-record siya. So it could flag as cheating, it could flag as other things. And then next is dependence on technology. Teachers and students may rely too much on apps instead of personal interaction. Through this kasi, personal experience, we're Class Dojo, we've been using it during high school and also in a common platform kasi siya sa ibang bansa, so ginagamit din siya ng mga kakilala ko. And the issue with this is that they provide all the materials online. So technically, doon na lang nila yun i-access. Nalilimit yung interaction. So pagdating sa classes, they just conduct the quizzes and all that kind of stuff. Hindi na nagiging in-depth yung discussion sometimes. So ina-upload na lang yung recorded versions ng mga lessons. Next is psychological impact. This may cause mental health issues to students who will feel they are always being watched or monitored also and also compared to others. So, yung isa namin na notice is, of course, different kind of environment na meron ng isa't isa sa bahay. Not everyone have a healthy environment studying, not everyone have different upbringings. Yun yung gusto namin i-point out dito, that sometimes this kind of monitoring could feel suffocating, especially dun sa students. And also, not everyone din kasi super hands-on ng parents, so there could be times na mag-isa lang din yung student doing everything and the monitoring. Because I also experienced it before, since hindi ganun ka galing din naman yung techie yung parents ko during the use of Class Dojo, hindi rin na monitor, although required sila mag-monitor. So technically, ako lang din yung gumagawa. Then, ayun.
Then in Grinchbot, what ethical dilemmas does the introduction of the S&T assigned to your group pose? First of all, is economic manipulation. Economic manipulation happens when you manipulate the stocks, and when you manipulate the stock, you can manipulate the profit of a certain product. And fairness in access. Well, first of all, kasi yung kalaban po natin dyan is mga bots and mga technical po sila, and hindi po natin sila kaya in terms of speed. Ayun na. Then, security and trust. Retailers must have now enhanced their bot protection, leading to higher expenses and making the process more challenging for regular commerce. So, ayun nga po, parang unfair pa rin po talaga. Next.
So next is, why is it important to question the moral and ethical issues of these technologies? So what we want to, like I emphasized earlier, Class Dojo is an important tool na ginagamit for school. So this means that the data should be protected securely, and dapat especially given na nagko-collect ng personal informations natin yung mga ganitong klaseng platform, without properly addressing the issue, it could risk the safety of the students, and then collected data from student behavior and performance, development of students, pointing system, comparison to others, and loss of autonomy and self-esteem in general. And yun po yung gusto namin i-emphasize. Then for Grinchbots,
For Grinchbot is, why is it important to question the moral and ethical issues surrounding the assignments? Is it important to question the moral ethical issue of Grinchbot because they create unfair advantages, limit access for ordinary commerce, and harm trust online shopping? By addressing the problems that S&T oppose is, magkakaroon tayo ng fairness, and syempre magpoprotektahan natin yung mga real commerce, hindi lang po yung mga bots.
so for the last question, in the face of this new technology innovation, why is it important to study science, technology, and society? For our collective thought would be, studying science, technology, and society is important because it helps us understand how tools like this, Class Dojo, and classroom surveillance affect students, teachers, and parents. These technologies make communication easier and can help classroom keep safe and organized. However, it also raises issues such as privacy, students feeling pressured, and unfair access to technology. By studying this, we learn to look at both good and bad sides so schools can use these tools responsibly, supporting learning and safety while protecting the rights and well-being of the students. And I want to emphasize in that is that, yes, technology is what we use to make our life easier, but we should also keep in mind that it's a developing idea. There's always gonna be something na kailangan nating i-improve. It's not gonna be a perfect platform. Then for Grinchbots naman,
why is it important to study science, technology, and society regarding in Grinchbot? It's important to study Grinchbot because we need to protect the real buying thing, hindi lang po sa bots. Kasi pag umaasa lang tayo sa bot is parang unfair na po masyado sa yung mga wala masyadong technology advanced na access ka. Sila po.
so yeah, thank you so much.
Right. Next presenter. Group 3.
May nag-send.
Alright, let's just So, who's going to present? Who's going to present? You three?
So we are the group B, and good morning po. Good morning lang. So our topic, our issue is about predatory journals and student tracking software. So first, what is predatory journals? So these are fake journals that charge fees but skip peer review. These are journals na pinipilit nila yung mga new authors or mga batang authors with emails na nakalagay na kailangan nila yung research about something. So these are fraudulent publications that falsely claims the legitimacy scholarly journals but prioritize financial gain over quality of the research, misleading authors with false promise of peer reviews and editing services. So, yun, these are journals na fake. Well, hindi naman siya fully fake, pero lacking siya sa research and peer reviews. And these are profit-driven journals. So, what factors or events led to the introduction of this issue? So, the publish or perish. Na sinabi ko nga kanina, they use emails or aggressive emails to contact the authors with threats or requests na kailangan na nila ma-publish yung gawa nila na research without the author knowing na publish nila yun without yung peer review ng research. So the boom of access, publishing, abuse by predatory journals seemed like a fix to high cost and long wait times, but made problems worse. So what ethical dilemmas does introduction of S&P assigned peer group pose? It exploits the youngs na may ina-exploit na yung mga batang researchers na desperate na habulin yung publications. And ang dilemma nito ay maka-compromise yung research and yung katotohanan. Which ang science kasi is they use science to prove something that is real. Pero dito sa sa type of journal na to, which is predatory journal, is hindi talaga siya real lahat dahil there is no peer review.
And next is, why is it important to question the moral and ethical issues surrounding the assigned science and technology? If ignored, they damage research and author reputation. So guys, dito is, sa reputation is, kapag hindi natin questionin kung ano ang moral and ethical issue, is pwede nilang malason or masira yung foundation ng research and stop them by checking journal credibility, supporting legit publishers, and educating researchers. So hindi lang patungkol sa pagtatanong is hindi lang patungkol sa pagtatanong natin mapoprotektahan yung isang research. So magitan na rin ng mali. Sa pamamagitan ng pagtatanong is mapoprotektahan natin ang research. The next is so in the face of this new science and technology innovation, why is it important to study science, technology, and society? So STS shows both benefits and risks of science and tech, helps us spot problems like predatory journals. Reminder, truth matters more than numbers. So, una is, tinuturuan tayo nito upang makita natin kung ano yung problema, katulad ng predatory journals. So, kung walang progress, ay kung walang ethics, is walang progress na mangyayari. And next is, sa pag-aaral ng STS ay magiging gabay ito upang magamit natin ng responsable.
So let's now move on to the student tracking software. So what is the student tracking software? It's basically any app or software that is used to monitor attendance, grades, behaviors, and student records. It makes school management faster and more efficient, but raises concern in privacy and liberty. So basically po, ito yung mga apps like LMS or SIS na kung saan nagkakaroon ng access yung isang institution, in this case, the school, sa mga information mo, specifically your academic history, your grades, attendance, yung behaviors mo, yung comments ng professors regarding your performance sa school, as well as yung mga emergency contacts mo, yung mga important na medical informations mo. And it also gives the parents access to this information, as well as communication with your professors, with you as the student. And it's more faster when it comes to data management, analytics, and communication. It's all in one platform, so it's basically very efficient when it comes to online classes and during the COVID-19 pandemic. What factors or events led to the introduction of this SNP? Basically, back then, we used the traditional manual tracking, wherein our professors or teachers use manual log books or calculators sa pag-compute ng grades, as well as spreadsheets. And nagkikip sila ng mga folders, nagpapile up yung folders sa mga office nila. So, to give solution to this problem, they decided to create this SNP para mas madali yung pagpaprocess ng mga grades natin, ng attendance natin, and to also monitor yung pag-exit and pag-enter natin sa mga premises. Next is push for better school performance plus rise of the big data and AI. So technically, habang umaangat yung technology dito sa country natin, kailangan makipagsabay ng mga schools. So they decided na gamitin into their advantage yung AI para mas madali nilang makompute yung grades, as well as ma-monitor yung performance ng mga students, and to see kung sino pa yung need ng much na attention, and para madaling ma-process yung mga problems, mabigyan ng comments, ma-communicate sa mga students kung saan yung dapat nilang tutukan. Next is, due to the COVID-19, it boosted the online monitoring needs. So, although, before the COVID-19, gusto na nila talagang i-implement yung ganito, mas napaigi siya because of the pandemic. Kasi kailangan natin mag-transition into the online world. Kaya, naisipan nila, the student tracking software would be essential para na monitor yung pagpasok, yung pag-online ng mga students, kung kailan sila active, kailan sila lumalabas sa mga online platforms, kailan yung mga ginagawa pa nila is full AI or uniquely their own, and as well as to keep monitor dun sa mga students na kailangan ng help, as well as to give information dun sa mga parents. Then, what ethical dilemmas does the introduction of the SNP assign to you? So, first, of course, privacy. Anything naman na ginagawa natin online will pose any privacy concerns, because all the data na laman ng SNP o ng student tracking software is very private. Dito nalalaman yung mga naging history mo with the guidance, yung mga records mo, yung medical needs mo. So, if na-breach ito and na-misuse siya, magkakaroon ng malaking problema in terms of your future if you want to go to a better college in the future, something like that. Next is the over-surveillance. Since SNP does track almost everything, like the attendance, the grades, the performance, nakikita rin nila kung what time kayo lumalabas ng school or ma-enter ng school. Especially dun sa mga gumagamit ng SIS na mga schools, particularly private schools. So, if the student is under that kind of terms, of course, may feel na parang laging may nanonood sa inyo. Specifically kasi, yung mga information na yun, pwede siyang, live siyang nate-text sa mga parents nyo, or napopost sa, sa website. Kaya, instead na nararamdaman yung napapadali yung buhay nyo, mas nape-pressure kayo because of this student tracking software. And because of this, syempre, nagkakaroon tayo ng stress and trust issues. Dahil yung mga information na nilalagay mo, it's very prone na ma-expose, especially kapag na-hack yung system. One wrong action could lead to a very dangerous effect kasi yung information mo, pwede siyang gamitin against you. Yun lang. So, next. Why is it important to question the moral and ethical issues surrounding assigned assignment? Of course, to protect student rights and privacy, prevent misuse of data and over-monitoring, build accountability in school and software developers. So, it is important to regulate student tracking software because if we do not have control, there's a possibility na magkaroon ng abuse of authority, invasions of privacy and loss of trust sa mga students. Kaya dapat i-address yung moral and ethical issue para masigurado na technology stays as a tool para sa safety and improvement ng mga students and hindi para sa control and exploitation. In the face of this new SNT innovation, why is it important to study science, technology, and society? SDS shows both benefits and risks of tech-like tracking software, encourages critical thinking on ethics, and helps ensure that there's people not just institutions. So, studying SDS also reminds us na technology is not neutral. Lagi itong may kasamang ethical, social, and cultural impact. For example, tracking software can improve attendance monitoring, pero kung ma-abuse natin to, pwede na daw ma-threaten yung privacy ng student and autonomy. So, mahalaga yung SDS kasi it helps us reflect kung paano ba dapat gamitin ng technology. Kung paano ba dapat gamitin yung technology in a way that respects human dignity, human rights, and social good, at hindi lang para sa institutional efficiency.
That'll be all. Okay, thank
Wala. May iba lang yun.
So, good morning everyone. Today our group will talk about two important issues that na nakaka-apekto sa atin sa araw-araw and sa social as a whole. So the first issue is the use of artificial intelligence and gamification in hiring. This means companies are now using AL systems and gain likeness to check if job applicants are suitable. And the second issue is corruption of tech ethics, which is refers to how big companies often talk about ethics and responsibility. But in reality, many of them use ethics more as a cover to protect their reputation rather than actually fixing problems. So these topics shows not only the opportunities technology give us, but also the risk when it is misused or not guided by real ethics. So let's start with some background.
So for the background of AI hiring and tech ethics, naging popular yung AI in hiring dahil need ng companies ng mabilis na paraan para ma-manage yung sobrang daming applications. Dahil sa machine learning at natural language processing, kaya na ng AI systems na mag-scan ng resume automatically at mag-analyze ng video interviews by checking tone of voice or facial expressions at gumawa pa ng game-like test para makita yung skills ng applicants. Mas lalo pang tumaas yung paggamit nito during COVID-19 pandemic kasi halos lahat ng hiring ay nangyari online. Now, looking at ethics, naging malaking issue ito lalo na pagkatapos ng ilang scandals. Example dito yung Facebook, yung Cambridge Analytica case na nagpakita kung paano pwedeng gamitin ang personal data sa maling paraan, tulad ng pag-influence ng elections. Nagsimula rin mapansin ng mga tao na yung AI algorithms minsan biased or unfair. To respond, maraming big companies ang gumawa ng ethics board or nag-set ng internal rules. Pero ang problema, marami sa board na ito ay mahina, kulang sa pondo, o hindi pinapansin ang advice nila kapag ang advice nila ay kontra sa company profits. Kaya sinasabi ng iba na tech ethics ngayon ay parang nako-corrupt na. Mas tungkol na lang siya sa pagpapaganda ng public image kaysa sa tunay na pagbabago.
So for the ethical dilemma, or tech ethics, many companies use tech ethics stuff.
So ethical dilemmas, both of these issues raise a lot of ethical questions. So una is for AI in hiring, bias and fairness are big concerns. If the data used to train the AI is biased. For example, favoring men kasi yung mga past na hire is puro lalaki. And yung AI, yun yung parang itutuloy niya, which is unfair siya para sa atin. Then second is transparency is another issue. Many AI systems are like black boxes. Applicants often don't know how the decision was made. And even companies sometimes can't fully explain it. And in privacy naman, these systems collect a lot of personal data, like how someone talks or behaves, which can be sensitive information. Then next is there's the problem of dehumanization. Like if hiring is fully automated, applicants can feel like they are treated as numbers or data points instead of as people with unique skills and qualities. And now for the ethics, tech ethics.
Are these ethics boards real or are they just public relations? How can we make companies sorry
Many companies use ethics law as a shield they claim to be responsible, but really just delay strict rules or government regulations. There's a lack of clear standard, no universal rules or professional codes that truly hold companies accountable. Technology is also often exploited by the corruption or government in ways that many harm people, such as mass surveillance or data exposure. And again, there's always a tension between efficiency and oversight. Technology can make the process faster, but if we remove human judgment completely, we lost the moral responsibility behind that decision.
For summary, why are these issues are important for STS? STS helps us study kung paano maging connected ang STS sa tao, culture, at values. Sa case ng AI hiring, STS can guide us to ask, are these tools really fair? Do they promote diversity or do they reinforce bias? Paano tayo makakagawa ng policies na makakapag-protect ng applicants' rights? Sa case naman ng tech ethics, STS helps us understand na hindi sapat yung simpleng pagkakaroon lang ng ethics course. It teaches us na kailangan may real accountability, stronger laws, at practices na inuuna ang tao kaysa sa profit. By looking at these cases, natututo tayo makita both yung benefits ng innovation at yung risk kapag na-misuse ito. At yung balance na yun ang dahilan kung bakit sobrang importante ang STS.
In conclusion po, AI hiring shows us how technology can improve efficiency, but also how it can become unfair or impersonal if we rely on it too much. The corruption of tech ethics shows us that thinking about values isn't enough. We need real action, real rules, and real accountability. That is why STS is so important. It gives us the tools to look at these challenges, ask the hard question, and make sure technology serves the common good.
Alright, thank you. Your group number? Are you all gonna be involved in the presentation?
Ay, si Wes. Wrong joke.
Alright, whenever you're ready, group number 1, correct?
Good morning everyone, we're group 1 and our topic for today is the science of skincare and
Going to the science po, sa field po siya ng skincare, also known as science washing po. Ito po yung mga products na ginagamit po natin as indicated po dito sa PowerPoint. ito po yung product na may nakalabel na clinically proven and scientifically proven po. At yung target market po ng mga product na to is yung mga gusto magpakinis and magpakinis and magpaputi po. But on the bad side po ay nakaka-apekto po siya. Pwede po siya mag-lead into financial loss po. Yung gumagastos po tayo ng malaking pera dito. Also, may mga negative effect po siya sa health po natin. Then, sa deepfakes po naman, ito yung mga AI-generated videos po, images or audio po, na nakikita natin, but mukha po siyang totoo, but digitally manipulated po siya. And on the other side naman po, nagamit naman natin siya sa entertainment and education po. Tapos, ang yung deepfakes po is nakaka-apekto siya sa reputations po ng information natin, also sa politics, and also nagtitreten po siya ng security. Next po.
So, in factors or events that leads to the introduction of pseudoscience of skincare and lipsticks. So basically, ito po yung nangyari or what triggers the introduction ng pseudoscience of skincare and lipsticks. So, pseudoscience of skincare, when we say nga po, as we mentioned earlier, pseudoscience is the beliefs that we believe na scientifically proven or scientifically inclined, but it's not. And skincare, of course, this is how we take care of our skin, regardless sa face or yung how do we take care of our skin or yung mga products na ina-apply natin sa skins natin. So if we combine those words, pseudoscience of skincare is the beliefs that we believe na scientifically proven or beliefs in skincare products that we believe na may factual data or na-test talaga but it's not. Example is yung example yung kasabihan nila na when you use period sa girls, as your first period, you apply it on your face, nakakaganda daw siya ng skin or nakakakinis daw siya ng skin, but it is false or say rumors lang since wala ngang scientific data or hindi siya tinest talaga na effective yung blood to nurture yung skin natin, but it's the opposite since maraming may infections yun, kaya nga nalalabas ng katawan natin kasi may dumi dun sa blood and we apply it on our face, then it will cause infections. And then another example, yung calamansi extract na they believe na pag pinunas daw natin sa kilikili natin is puputi. But there is no scientific data to prove that. But many people do that kasi nga kumakalat in the internet. Maraming nagsasabi, even showing their armpits or their progress na pumuputi talaga yung kilikili nila using calamansi extract, but it's not. So, these are the three factors that triggers the introduction of pseudoscience in skincare. Number one is the 20th century mass market, cosmetics and advertising. So basically, in this bullet or in this statement, nag-start daw ang pseudoscience of skincare nung naglabasan yung mga commercial about beautifications or about skincare. Na it started in 20th century na makikita na natin sa iba't ibang platforms like radio, TV, television, yung mga kino-commercial nila ng mga beauty products. So in that century daw po, na sa paglabas ng mga ganong klaseng commercial, doon na rin nagsilabasan yung mga tinatawag nilang pseudoscience or mga beliefs na they believe it's true when it comes to skincare or cosmetic products. Second is the regulatory gaps or yung 1938 FDNC Act or Federal Food and Drugs and Cosmetic Act on 1938. Basically, it stated here that it allowed companies to make unsupported claims by the way, when ang FDMC Act po, it's actually a good thing since when the Food FDMC Act is nagre-require siya since may nag-cause ng, on the year 1937, may nag-cause na isang product na maraming, it killed over 100 plus people. Na taong 1937 po yun. So, noong 1938, nirelease nila yung ganyang act na maglalabas yung bawat products or bawat companies na nagbebenta ng drugs and cosmetics ng ingredient list niya. In that way, malalaman or napapublicize yung nilalaman ng contents para knowledgeable yung tao kung ano yung ini-intake or pinapahid nila sa balat niya. So, it has a loophole lang since it has a loophole in a way na nakafocus siya sa drugs na hindi siya hindi na in-depth or hindi deep yung act na yan when it comes to cosmetics. Since ang drug, ini-intake siya, and ang cosmetics, pinapahid lang naman siya sa katawan natin. So, dun nagkaroon ng loophole na hindi natutukan ng regulatory act na yan, yung pagdating, yung regulatory act na yan sa skincare na ginagamit natin, na as long as na hindi siya nakakamatay, hindi siya nakaka-danger sa health ng tao, maganda siya or pwede siyang maging FDA approved. Next is social media influence. It spread false information, sets unrealistic beauty standards, promotes beauty gurus endorsing products for profit. So, we know this, yung mga napapanood natin sa internet ng mga beauty gurus or yung mga social media influencers in TikTok, Facebook, Instagram na ine-endorse yung product nila for profit. Mostly sa kanila, hindi naman lahat, pero may mga beauty gurus doon na ine-endorse lang yung product nila para kumita. Regardless kung sino yung mapahamak or matamaan sa binibenta nilang product, magkaroon lang sila ng kita. So, mag-spread sila ng false information na wrinkle reducing yung gantong product, nakakaputi, nakakabawas ng pores, nakakatanggal ng acne. But in reality, wala rin naman silang alam na nakakaganon talaga yung ine-endorse nilang product. Since they are just viewing or showing their skin, or they're just showing their skin on the screen just to make something out of it, basically just to earn money from it. And next po is yung factors or events leading sa introduction naman po ng deepfakes.
So yung factors naman po, yung events na leading for deepfakes po is introduced because sa paglaganap nga po ng artificial intelligence and like deep learning models like GANs. Yung GANs po is generative adversarial networks and which allowed po na yung computers po na realistic copy human faces and voices po. And yung term naman po na deepfake is first po siya na nag-appear in 2017 on Reddit po. And when people po began posting videos that use AI to swap celebrity faces into other content, and nag-spread po siya lumaganap po siya ng sobra dahil because of social media provided huge amount of data for training AI and powerful GPUs po that made the technology more accessible po. So at first po, similar tools po were used in movies and games to create digital effects, but over time po, deepfakes po is become linked to bigger issues like misinformation and fake news po. Yan lang po. Thank you po.
And then proceed po sa ethical dilemmas of pseudoscience and skincare and beauty. For pseudoscience and skincare, health risks. Unsafe or uncensored ingredients can harm skin or overall health. So, this health at risk with false scientific claims po. Then financial harm. Misleading claims make people spend money on ineffective products. So this creates a problem since, or as people are spending money on products that doesn't deliver real, or it isn't effective. Then conflict of interest. Doctors or clinics promote products for profit, not patient care. So this situation becomes tricky kasi naprioritize yung profit gain over sa patient's health and proper guidance sa health po nila. Then next question is
Let's proceed po sa deepfake. The deepfakes po, ayun po yung videos or audio or image that seems have been manipulated by AI. Ito po, example po natin is consent and privacy created using real people's image or voices without permission. Dito po, sa mga social media, example is TikTok, meron po mga tao na gumagamit ng image na hindi po sa kanila and ginagamit po nila para makapag-influence po ng ibang tao. And yung ninakawan po nila ng image is wala po silang permission doon para gamitin po nila yung image na yan. And the next one is truth and deception versus reality. Anything deliberate misinformation po. Example po natin dito is fake video of a politician admitting to a crime will influence elections or incite violence po. And the last is freedom of expression versus harm balances creating freedom with potential risk to others. Example po nato is should laws restrict deepfakes strongly or only when they cause demonstrable harm po. That's all.
So next, why it is important to question the moral and ethical claims. So first is with the science of skincare, it exploits consumer insecurities with exaggerated claims. So for exaggerated claims nila, like yung mga whitening products, may mga madaming whitening products na ina-advertise na 7 days makikita mo yung result, which hindi naman nag-deliver in 7 days. Wala kang minsan nakikita na result para din wala ka din na ano. And then, very exploitative in nature siya, and it's feeding off people's insecurities. And next, people may contain unsafe ingredients. So, if you're familiar with garlic cream po, so yung garlic cream, ina-advertise siya as whitening products for intimate areas. Pero hindi nila disclose na yung garlic cream is nagko-contain siya ng mercury, which can cause kidney damage, rashes, and scarring. So, next is promotes unrealistic beauty standards, reinforcing colorism and ageism. So, in many pseudoscience skincare products po, may mga ang daming products na nag-claim na it's anti-reversing, anti-aging. So, it's nagkakaroon siya ng shame culture na ang pangit tumanda. Like, if nag-show ka na ng signs na tumatanda ka, kailangan mong bumili ng products na to para ma-reverse yung pagtanda mo. And then yung sa colorism naman po, it's very relevant in whitening products, especially. Nakikita nyo naman sa advertisement palagi na in whitening products na yung lighter actor may, tas yung isa is darker yung balat ng isa. So parang nagre-reinforce siya na idea sa atin na yung darker skin kailangan niya makorek na ang pangit niya tingnan, which is hindi totoo. So it raises ethical concerns about truthfulness, safety, and social responsibility. So let's proceed with fakes.
So, next po sa deepfakes, often use individuals' likeness without consent, violating privacy, and autonomy. So, paggamit ng pagkakapareho ng mga tao without consent, so nagbabiolate to sa privacy nila dahil sa paggamit ng image. So, next is can spread misinformation, manipulate politics, and harm reputation. So, nag-i-spread sila ng false information at influence sa politics sa nakasira ng reputations. Ethical questioning helps guide Ethics guides regulation, awareness, and responsible use. Ethical discussions help shape rules and promote responsible use para maprotektahan ang mga tao sa society. Next.
The importance of SES in science. Show how science and tech affect daily life like teacher and brother. So, science and technology affect our daily lives by shaping the products we use, like skincare, and influencing how we make choices. Number 2, but false claims like clinically proven when there is no real evidence. Like other products po na nag-endorse mga tao sa atin na pinapalabas po nila na clinically proven to, pero hindi naman po talaga. Parang ano lang po, parang
When you say clinically proven, what does it mean?
parang
Like,
parang ganun po ng mga science. Clinically proven. As in, it teaches us to recognize when product claims sound scientific but lack of proof po. Tapos lang po na clinically proven. The number 3, guide safer choices, protects health, and prevents wasting money. Tapos, it helps us choose wisely, stay healthy, and avoid spending on ineffective products. Para makakatipid po tayo kung parang talagang sure po yung product. Then number 4 po, encourages critical thinking about user standard advertising. It makes us question good ideas and through misleading ads.
Lastly naman po, when it comes to deepfakes naman, SES show us that deepfakes are not just technology but also social science, social issues. They can help education and entertainment, but also spread fake news and privacy po. Studying SES remind us na mahalagang maging responsible sa paggamit ng deepfake para maprotektahan natin.
That's all. Thank you. Okay, since it's already time, we'll continue with this. This will be done online. I'll be giving you enough minutes to discuss it. And then, continuing with the next
Yes, pwede pangupuntaan. Thank you. Yung papel mo sa PE. Teka mamaya. Ma'am?
Up next class, in a day, or you can wait for the next.
Kailangan ko ng budget!
Magawa kami. Charity. Charity. Rawi.
Siyempre, pwede ko
Guys, magpapila po muna sa Uy, gusto kayong ano? Ba-timer? Kahit may sila. Hindi ko din lalagay ko. Okay lang kami. Salbo ka ba? Hindi naman kailangan. Uy, may scratch paper kayo. Scratch. Divider sa PE. Scratch paper ba? Scratch paper. Dito sa pagkala nila. Hindi tayo makakapit. Pero sila ko. Ay, sorry, babe.
Okay.